Do you ever feel like you have so many things on your mind that you can't move forward? Do you ever feel like there's so many things trying to upset you, but you keep pushing back and saying no? But then these things continue to pop up in your head. I think they're there for a reason. And I don't think everybody's going to understand this, but that reason is to remind you to go back to yourself. Go back inside of yourself. No matter how hard it is, or how hard you think it is, or perceive it to be, you can always go back to yourself. And remember, nobody is living this life that you're living. Paradoxical, but true. No one's living your life but you. And I didn't mean to rhyme that. But it's the truth. Nobody's living your life. And I think a lot of people have heard this, but they don't apply it to their lives. Or they might not actually explore what it means to be a self, to be an individual, to have your own mind, your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own desires, your own imagination, and your own world. We do all have our own worlds. It's just a matter of being in touch with it or not. And you can think of it like a garden. Are you tending to that garden? Are you feeding the flowers and the plants? Are you making sure that they have enough sunlight and water and whatever else is needed? You know, the perfect soil. A lot of the times nature does its own thing, but as far as the garden, these days we have to monitor it and make sure that everything's growing the way that we want it to. And I think if we leave the garden alone, yes, there will be weeds, and those are just different forms of nature. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we can put our intentions into the garden of our mind and our heart. You can use what you have what you know, what you feel, metaphorically, to grow your garden. You could be at the lowest point in your life, but you can turn that low point into something inspiring. You can actually change the way you see things. It might feel uncomfortable at first. It does feel uncomfortable. There are many, many feelings related to all of this. We're gonna feel a wide range of things. As human beings, this is normal. And remember, if you're going through hard times, if you're being abused in any way, even abusing yourself, it's normal to react abnormally, if that makes sense. Because if you acted normally in response to an abnormal thing being done to you, that in itself is not normal. So remind yourself of that, and remind yourself that that's okay. You can feel what you feel. You can experience these things and not feel bad about it, or have that mindset of, I should do this, I shouldn't do that, I shouldn't feel this. Just let yourself feel it. Let it crumble to the ground. If that's where it's headed, let it go. Yes, it's easier said than done, but what else is there to do other than to let it be what it is? Let it go. Let it dissolve. Let it crumble. Let yourself cry. The only mistake we make is when we get stuck in that realm, in that world of sadness or despair or anger, depression. When we get stuck there, that's the trick. And it's kind of like a trick we play on ourselves. And yes, it can appear that there are so many external things creating this mindset of yours, which is partially true, but it's our minds that perpetuate these thoughts and keep that energy alive, when really we're not aware at the time that there's a way out, or maybe we're not aware of how to get out of that situation. The way that I see personally, the way I see of getting out of this, if that makes any sense, is to, like I said, let yourself feel everything that you want to feel. Don't resist. If you're resisting those feelings, you're going to perpetuate it even more. If you're trying to be happy when you're actually sad, you're resisting. Allow yourself to feel those feelings. Give yourself permission to feel. You don't need permission from anyone else, but sometimes we do need permission from ourselves. and we don't even realize it. You don't need permission to exist. You don't need permission to feel, to think. You don't need permission. But just know that you can, and that is your own permission. When things seem like they're crumbling and falling apart, let it happen. No matter how hard it is, no matter how much it hurts. If that's the direction it's going in, and you can't do anything about it, like I said, let it happen. But don't get caught in it. But the whole point of letting yourself letting yourself feel it is the key to releasing it. Because once you allow yourself to feel everything associated with it, that's the thing that allows you to let it go. That is the key. That is what allows you to be free. Freedom is a state of mind, too. That's what we can learn from any hard things that we might have to go through. We have to be able to just feel, just be who you are. I think there's so much of a control that we're taught to have over our feelings or our thoughts, our actions. But when you try to control everything, and when you try to mold it and shape it in the way that you want it, when it's really not naturally possible or happening that way, we need to listen to nature. We need to listen to what is actually happening. Not to say that you let everything go and don't put any effort into anything, but it's like that effort comes. When they say effortlessly, that is what happens when you let go, when you feel and then you let it go. It will automatically be released once you feel these things. I'm telling you, this is the power. And you might think it would be the opposite. You might think, well, I want to avoid those feelings or avoid thinking about whatever it is that's hurting you, or a hardship, a frustration, something that angers you. Again, you don't want to get stuck there. But I think that the more you avoid something like that, the more you are stuck. Because it's still there in the back of your head anyway. It's still there. Because you know that you're avoiding it. You know truly in your heart that you're trying to do things to take your mind off of it. Which, in some sense, people say these things, but I think what they mean is something different. I don't know if I'm making sense. I hope I am. I think, but it's all incorporated with each other. So the allowing yourself to feel, Number one. Number two, once you feel that, you can release it. Now, it doesn't all just go and leave your body, leave your mind, leave your heart all at once. But the more that you can allow yourself to feel it, to experience that frustration, pain, sadness, like the quicker it is going to leave you. Accept it for what it is, even if it is extremely painful. Accept it. I didn't say, I just want you to know that I'm not saying abuse should be accepted. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not saying that we should just accept pain for what it is in that sense of, giving it an excuse. There is no excuse for abuse. Again, I'm not trying to rhyme, but it's interesting how that rhymes. There's no excuse for abuse, okay? To ourselves or to any other person. But the thing that we do is, in turn, when we're abused, we start abusing ourselves over time. And that's why this is very important, to allow yourself to feel this, to allow yourself to let this go, or to allow yourself to accept it for what it is, and then you can let this go. It naturally it's like you will naturally let it go. It will naturally dissolve more and more. It's like shining the light on something. When you shine the light on something that's dark, it has no choice but to be seen. You're shining the light. There is no other, unless you don't look at it, but that wouldn't really make sense to shine light and not look at it. You're shining light on it to look at it, to say, okay, that's what this is. Oh, that's pretty gross. I didn't know that was lurking in the darkness. Let's go away from that now. Like, okay, I see you, you're there. Let's clean this up. And again, it does naturally dissolve. Like, you do have to do the work. Like, this is the work. Accepting it, seeing it for what it is, feeling it, allowing yourself to feel it, allowing yourself to go with the flow of whatever is going to happen according to this thing that's hurting you, abusing you. Shine the light on it. Because the more that we turn away, the more that we don't look at those darker aspects of ourselves, or whatever darkness we keep hidden away, whether it was something that was done to us or something that we've done to ourselves or ignored, whatever it may be, if it's in the darkness, you are giving it more control. You're pretending it's not there when you leave it in the darkness. Again, I'm not saying we have to be all involved in it and stay in that realm. You don't want to hang out with it, You just want to say, okay, I see you, you're there, you've hurt me, but I accept what is. I accept that this is the way that it is. What I mean by accept is that you can't change it. Meaning you can't change the past. You can change what things are from this point on in the future. Now that's where I'm getting to next. But you can't change the past, and you have to accept whatever happened. And I can give a very simple explanation, and that would be like stubbing your toe. It's really not that big of a deal. At the time, it hurts like hell, but you stub your toe, you get angry, You might cry. Or not cry, literally, but you might feel so much pain that you feel like crying. Some people have more, sensitivities than others, so some people might get angry. Some people just might get a little frustrated. Some people might not really react at all. It's really how we look at things. Yes, everyone has pain from it, but it's a choice on how you're going to react as well. But the main point I'm trying to say is that you accept what happened. You accept that your toe got stubbed. You hurt your toe. That's fine. Actually, you don't even judge it at all. You don't say it's fine, it's good or bad. There's nothing to judge about it. You just know how you felt, and it hurt. Obviously, we're not going to say abuse is good. We're going to say it's bad, right? But we already know this, and I think what's important, like I said, is to notice how you feel inside. If you're not feeling fulfilled, I mean truly, truly fulfilled with whatever it is, whatever the situation is for you. Everybody's situations are different. But it's like, okay, what can we do about it? What we can do about it is accept it and move on from it. Whether this is a continuous thing or not. If it's continuous, you need to try to get away from it as much as possible, as soon as possible. If you know that something is hurting you continuously, you need to get away from it. There's many ways you can get away from things. But again, this helps a lot because if you're in a position where you can't get away from it, you accept not the abuse. You don't accept abuse. You don't say, oh yeah, you can abuse me. That's okay. That's fine. Obviously not. But you can look at things for what they are and put them in the place that they belong. And you say to yourself, okay, well, this is what happened. It's horrible. It's painful. You could have even almost died from it. But what are you going to do now to take care of yourself? To take care of your mental health, to take care of your physical and your spiritual, your emotional health. And looking at it, accepting it, feeling it is going to propel you in a more positive direction because you're noticing it and you're saying, I don't want this. This hurts. This is painful. We naturally don't want to feel pain. We naturally are going to drift away from things that are painful, situations. Those situations, yes, we experience them. Sometimes they're there as a lesson. Not to say we deserve abuse. Again, abuse is not okay, all right? But we have to look at how can we become better, because if we continue to repeat this negativity associated with it, and that's all we're doing is thinking about negativity. We're thinking negative things, we're saying negative things, we're doing negative things, then our character starts to become negative. Then no matter where we look, we see negativity. So it's very important to redirect your focus and realize, wait, there's more. There's so much more. Even though I've experienced all this pain, again, maybe it is so that you can look at the pain and accept that you feel this way. And no, it's not okay. It's not okay. And I can say, specifically, not sure if everybody is familiar with gang stalking, but those that aren't, I would suggest to look it up. But if you're being gang stalked or if you're being targeted, actually, if you're being targeted in any way, this is, I found, one of the most helpful things to do is to accept, like, this is what's happening. We can't change it. Meaning, you can't change what has happened and what is already happening. But what you can change is from this point on, we have the gift of the present. I think that's why they call it the present, because it really is a gift. You can, again, you can't change the past, but you can change what's happening every moment. You can think of ways to change things in the future, which is using the gift of the present. That's the type of thinking we should be doing. Ruminating over that. Ruminating over what could be beautiful. What can we create? And then, not only what we can create by ourselves, but what could we create together? Think about how powerful it is sometimes when you're in that state of mind of creativity and wonder, and you're in your imagination, and you can imagine all sorts of things. Imagine everyone being able to create together. Right there gives me hope. Right there, that makes me smile. Because we can't get there unless we start thinking about it, unless we start changing our minds. It's like, yes, that has happened to me. Yes, these things might be still happening to me, but I'm going to head in this different direction. I'm going to be inspired by this thing because it gives me joy that this thing, whatever it is for you, it could be very small, but that makes, just by looking at this one thing that inspires you, that's just going to create a bigger world of inspiration. And it's going to multiply, and then that will be more so part of your reality than what was happening to you. And then that's the other thing. There's things that happen to you, but then there's things that you can do. You can create things. You can make things happen. There was a quote, I forgot what it was. Something like, now everybody's got their own views on everything here, okay? But with this talk that I'm having right now, this relates to what I'm saying. It's like there's some sort of quote, I forgot exactly how it was, but excuse me, something to the effect of, we're not here to be changed by the world. We're here to change the world. And I'm just going to say it like that because that's how I remember it. It's probably different, but isn't that so amazing? Like, just that difference of perspective. Like, yes, we are changed by the world somewhat too. Not to say that we're never changed by the world itself or the people in it or anything within the world. But wouldn't it be amazing if we can all change the world together, like I was saying, and affect the world instead of having the world always affect us, if this makes sense. It's like saying, okay, we're going to take the power back. Because we truly do have the power inside of us. It's just a matter of like noticing it and using it. Harnessing it somehow. And I think that's why we do art and why people create art, why people create anything, music, anything creative. Because we want to have an impact on the world too. We don't just want the world to shape us. So let's create something. And it shows. It can show your real, true power. That's what I want to focus on. And I've been inspired by so many people recently. I mean, there are some YouTubers I could, write down their YouTube channel. It's just, I enjoy taking what I've learned from them and sharing it with everybody. And it's so beautiful because it's like now I'm in this time of my life where I see how important it is to just share your thoughts or share a piece of art or creativity and not caring what people think about it or if they're going to judge it or if they're not going to like it. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because all it is an expression. I mean, yeah, some people might like those expressions and that's beautiful. Some people might not like those expressions. But what matters is the expression, period. What matters is that it came out of you, that you took the time, that you went into your own little world and you pulled something out of it and you showed the world, the outside world, I guess. You went in your inner world and you grabbed something out and you showed the outside world. Isn't that a miracle, in a sense? Isn't that something we should be utilizing? And not caring about the results, not caring what anyone's going to think about it. If it's truly something that you need to express, these people might not understand it, the ones that don't like it. Maybe because they're closed off inside. And it's sad if you think about it. But the more that we are able to do this for ourselves, I think we can also show others that it's very possible and that it's beautiful no matter what type of expression it is. It's an expression. Let it be. Let it be what it is. Some things aren't beautiful that we express. And that's fine. But the whole process itself is beautiful. I think that's what we're missing these days, is noticing these expressions for what they are. Like, it's like everyone's so concerned about the end result and critiquing everyone else, which, that can be used sometimes. That can be useful. But we've lost that wonder, or that the beauty of what could be, or the beauty of, beauty of what could be. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for listening.